Welcome to Empowered to Grow, the podcast. I am your host, Hanan Basha, the business doctor. Following our conversations with empowered women who woke up one day and consciously claimed, I am more than enough, I am worthy, I am empowered to grow. And along their empowering journey towards realizing their own potential and their quest for growth, they became a beacon of hope and guidance for others. May you also find your inner power to grow. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Empowered to Grow. This is your host, Hanan Basha. I like to dub this episode one of faith and faith as well, which is actually quite fitting because I met this amazing woman, Keri, and I'll refer to her as Keri Faith, even though Faith is not her last name, but it's very fitting to what she does. We met online and we just got to chatting and we realized that we have cross paths on so many other platforms and so many other pathways in virtual space that we just have to talk. We have to do this recording. So Keri is passionate about bringing both the art and the science to mindset, to transformation, to bringing people into the awareness of how they can best capitalize on their emotional intelligence, on their IQ, and on becoming better versions of themselves. Am I right, Keri?
Yes, you are right. Multidimensional.
Which is a beautiful thing, I think. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to be here.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure, and just to connect all the way on the other side of the world with beautiful souls. It's just a testament of, being in the right space and the right heart space brings and attracts the right people into our sphere of influence. So Thank you for connecting.
Thank you. I love this. And yes, I'm a strong believer and a strong advocate for that. It doesn't always have to be the negativity that shines through. I think we have to fight our way through with some light and some positivity just to kind of switch perspectives in this world and switch mindsets around. So I'd like to start. I usually start with this question, and I like to get my guest's perspective on it. When I asked you to come on the show and I said the show is dubbed Empowered to Grow, what does that mean to you? How does that resonate with you as a statement?
Well, I believe that we are all here to learn, grow, and evolve together. And as human beings, that growing there's no end to it. Mm-hmm. We are in a fluid world, and if we stay stagnant, if we stay in the same place and aren't open to grow and to empower to grow, then we get stuck. And for me, I was very stuck in my life. And that came through with a lot of physical ailments, illness, chronic pain. So when I realized that I actually had the empowerment and I had the choice to either stay there or to choose my own growth path, it was just transformational. And so it is my mission to really empower other people and to open up the ability to grow, and that we're all on this journey of growth, that it looks different for everyone. So it's just so aligned with me and my mission and my podcast and really my purpose, I feel like, on earth. So I just love the title, anything about empowerment to make choices. That just because we are in a situation, it doesn't mean we have to stay there.
I love that. So speaking of that, you have empowered yourself to grow in your own unique way. Would you tell us a bit about your story, please?
Well, I think that I really realized that I wasn't just empowered, but I was called to a role in my life that I never really thought I was going to step into. And that was motherhood for me. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to discount anyone that hasn't had children or hasn't gone through motherhood, but it gave me purpose and it gave me meaning, because personally, I was very depressed as a child, never really knew it. I just didn't have a lot of elated emotions as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And for my first memory, I had stomach aches, which turned to chronic headaches, and then chronic migraines and inflammation and pain. And that's where I felt stuck, right? I felt stuck in that pain for so long. I told myself throughout my 20s, I was never going to live past 30. And I know that's really even like hard for me to fathom I was there, because it seems like a whole different life. But and I also told myself, and this is the power of a story, right? The power of a story, because when I told myself I was never going to live past 30, I made very bad choices in my life.
That's true.
Obviously, I need to make those so that I could eventually have the awakening. But I also told myself I was never going to get married and I was never going to have children. But really, that's what I needed most in my life, to have the will to live, to have the empowerment to grow and have a deeper meaning, that I wasn't just there to suffer in my own silence.
Yeah.
Because it was depression that I was experiencing. And depression is something that is silenced, I feel like.
Sure.
I know in the modern world, in the Western world where I live, and I know it's viewed in different ways, but historically it has been silenced. And so that's a little bit about my journey. And I've been in motherhood for 11 years, and it has been the best blessing.
Oh, God bless. 10 on my end. So, and it was been also a humbling experience, to say the least. It was like, seriously, I have to do this. And as you said, it's a different type of empowerment motivation, where you really have to get up, wake up, and know that someone, you are responsible for someone's livelihood, and you're responsible for shaping how they think. At least in the early years, before they realize that you've done something they need to change for the rest of their lives. But so from that perspective, actually, and where you stand now, what advice would you go back and impart on your 19-year-old self then?
Well, I would empower my 19-year-old self to just never give up. And to never settle for someone else telling me something. Because even when I remember back to being actually about 21 is when I was so sick in college that I stopped going to college, because I just couldn't get out of bed and go to class and do those normal things. And people told me I made a really bad decision to stop going to school, because I was at a good school and on a good path and came from a well-off family. But that almost sometimes became my story too, that I made a bad decision. So, and then I went to doctors, and you just need to take this pill, and you need to take the pill the rest of your life. And so to never give up, and always seek out alternative routes to where you're going. And where you're going is your own path. And so it's really about never giving up, never giving in, and always being open and expanded to different perspectives.
I like the concept, and I definitely agree and align on the concept of openness, because I think that is something that we can't really get and understand without guidance and without some form of mentoring along our life, that you need to have an open horizon of options. And it's not the end of the world when one relationship ends, and it's not the end of the world when one school doesn't accept you. And it's that kind of thing. For me, it was going to university with the thought that I'm going to be studying computer science, and then realizing, oh my God, I can't find myself in this at all. And I'm not the person to spend my whole life with a computer. I'm a people's person. And then getting kind of redirected into mass communication. But for me, it was I felt like a failure. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. And yet I've literally flourished in mass communication and journalism. I discovered I've got a thing for writing, and I've got a thing for journalism. And, I went on to be the editor-in-chief of the student newspaper and all those kind of things. But going through it still felt like I got second place. It still felt like I couldn't do what I was supposed to do. And amazingly, after graduating and working a bit in TV production and stuff, I found myself redirected again into the field of public relations and marketing. Again, feeling like, what the hell just happened over here? That's not what I studied for 4 years. But I went on to do my MBA in marketing, and that opened up a whole new field. And it is that. And I think that, especially with generations these days, and I say this because I work with my son and he's 10 years old, but I know I've been working with him for the past 2-3 years, and it is understanding that not every no is a bad thing. And now I kind of dubbed this statement that it's not a rejection, it's a redirection. And it's just that if we always think of it in that perspective, then, it could be a redirection of, you need to revise this bit, or you need to, look at it from a different angle, or upscale or downscale something. But I went on a whim there, and but I just felt what you were saying.
Right, because I know that feeling of failure. I stopped going to school around 21, and I felt shame. Mm-hmm. I felt failure. I felt not good enough. And I sat in that for a very, very, very long time, actually, until I went back to school a few times, or tried to, and I didn't complete. And it wasn't until I was 39 that I actually went back to school and got my degree in positive psychology. And it's that I felt like a failure. Yes. Because of what other people said. You should have your degree by the time you're 22, and you should have the career and all these things. But my journey was different. That's and true. It still is different than my sister's journey, or my parents' journey, or my friends from, college journey. And so we're all just on our own timeline. So be open to alternative ways of being and living. And I think as we move forward and are living in such a exponentially, rapidly changing world, that what worked in the past is not going to work in the future. No. So we have to be open and just go within too, to really ask yourself, what is it that you want to do, and not what everyone else wants you to do?
That's true. So now we go to the future and to your 90-year-old self. What would you like her to send you a time capsule with, saying thank you for? So she's going to send you a note with a time capsule saying thank you for something. What would that be for?
This question is always it's a difficult question, but I know that I've done the exercise of writing the letter to myself for my 80-something-year-old self. But the time capsule I feel like stepping into my powers in the sense, because I've been scared of my own powerful self and being. And, I'm already 40 something, but 50 years from now, I just feel like so much is going to change. But I'm just going to thank my 43-year-old self now. Thank you for being brave, for following your mission and never giving up. Sort of like the same advice about that I would give my 19-year-old self. It's to just say thank you. And because I feel like now is the time that I'm fully empowering myself and realizing that it's my mission to empower and heal others, and not to just fall back on any ways. And so it would be thank you. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for honoring your soul's purpose and awakening others to do the same.
I love that. So you're on a stage and you're talking to tens of thousands of women, and the speech is about being empowered to grow. What would be that last message you leave them with? Know
that you are here for one job. You only have one job, and that is to honor your soul's journey. It's honor the quiet whisper in your heart and in your gut, and that is called your intuition. And nobody can label it. Nobody can validate it. No external thing or being in the materialistic world is going to validate it until you recognize it within yourself. You are the only one that needs to validate who you are and what you need to do, and how you do it is on your own terms. And that's really where I feel like faith, and that's my middle name, comes into play, is that we have to have this inner certainty and trust within ourselves. And I'm not downgrading any or religion or having faith in a higher source, because that's what we need to tap into in order to have certainty within ourselves. But just translate, if you do believe in that higher being, that higher being is inside of you, and only you know that expression of it. It doesn't fit into a box. It doesn't fit into a title. It's one job, and it can transfer to any area or any role in your life.
Okay, I'm speechless, because spot on. You just said everything that needs to be said. That was amazing. Thank you for that. So,
thank you.
Keri, where can our listeners and viewers find you in virtual space?
In the virtual world, it's expansive and ever growing, but I love Instagram. Right now I'm on @Keri Faith on Purpose. That is my name, Keri, Faith on Purpose. I do have a podcast with the same name, which is on iTunes and all your listening platforms, Keri Faith on Purpose. You can email me at Gmail, the same name. And I just trust in divine timing that if we are meant to be together, like me and you right now,
yes,
that somehow a higher source will bring us together at the right time.
I believe in that too. And I believe we don't cross paths just to cross paths. We learn and we grow from each other, and we are there to leave a seed. And hopefully that is always a positive impact seed that is to grow with you forever. And I think these are the interactions that we are meant to have and to create in our lives. Thank you, Keri. Thank you for sharing your energy.
Such an honor.
Thank you for being here. And thank you, everyone. As Keri was saying, you know your purpose. You're here for that. Honor it, cherish it, nurture it. And you, as I always say, empowered you empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all. Thank you for listening to the Empowered to Grow podcast. For further engagement with a tribe of empowered women, join my Facebook group, Empowered to Grow, or visit my website, www.hananalbasha.com. I'll catch you on the next episode. And until then, know that empowered you empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all.